Welcome to my video. Let me introduce myself to all of you. My name is Nurmalia Sari. My student number is B1024191030. I'm a student of International Management. In this semester, I take Human Research Management. My lecturer is Mr. Mursalin. On this good occasion, I would like to answer the question of HRM midterm quiz. The question consists of three parts, namely Part A, Part B, and Part C. Part A deals with my activities in the Zoom meeting classroom. Part B deals with the theory of human research management. And Part C deals with the videos of HRM. Well, my dear audience, watch me and listen to me carefully. I would like to answer the question on Part A. During this half semester, I always attend human research management classes and when viewed from the history of attendance on the Universitas Tanjung Pura Presents website, I have attended HRM classes for 6 times, and there was one time that the attendance code was not given because it was the first week of classes starting and there was a technical error. So in total, I attend 7 times Zoom meeting of HRM. As someone who wants to build a business, and I have to study human research management. This is very important to build good and quality human research in a company. I have never missed the Zoom meeting of HRM because I am very interested in HRM. There I can learn how to manage employees in a company where I don't necessarily get this knowledge elsewhere. A book which used in learning HRM is a handbook, Human Research Management Practice, 10th edition, by Michael Armstrong. This book tells me about many things in human research, especially in managing people. In that book, tell me about motivation and how to know human characteristics. This book really opened my mind about human research because with this book, I can know a lot of new things. In that book, there are 12 parts with 59 chapters. And based on Zoom meeting class, I have studied 12 chapters of the book that me and my friends presentation. Chapter 1 discuss about human research management. This chapter talk about the basics of HRM. In this chapter, I can understand correctly what HRM is. Chapter 2 discuss about human capital management. Here I can distinguish between HRM and HCM. That human capital management is concerned with obtaining, analyzing, and reporting data that informs the direction of value-adding people management, strategic investment, and operational decision at a corporate level, and at the level of frontline management. Chapter 3 discuss role of the HR function. From this material, I can learn that HR functions are concerned with the management and development of people in organizations. They are involved in the development and implementation of HR strategies and policies and some or all of the following people management activities: organization development, human research planning, talent management, knowledge edge management, requirement and selection, learning and development, reward management, employee relations, health and safety, welfare, HR administration, fulfillment of statutory requirement, equal opportunity and diversity issues, and any other matters related to the employment relationship. Chapter 4: The Role of the HR Practitioner. I learned that the role of HR practitioner vary widely according to the extent to which they are generalists or specialists, head of learning and development, head of talent management, or head of reward. The level at which they work, the needs of the organizations, the context within which they work, and their own capabilities. Chapter 5: Role of the Frontline Manager. What I can learn from this material is from frontline managers as defined by Hutchinson and Purcell are managers who are responsible for a work group to a higher level of management hierarchy and are placed in the lower layers of the management hierarchy. Normally at the first level, they tend to have employees reporting to them who themselves do not have any management or supervisory responsibility and are responsible for the day-to-day running of their work rather than strategic matter. The role of such managers typically include a combination of the following activities: people management, managing operational costs, etc. Chapter 6: International HRM. This chapter contains international HRM, that international human research management is the process of employing, developing, and rewarding people in international or global organizations. It involves the worldwide management of people, not just the management of expertise. Chapter 7: Strategic HRM. These chapters tell us how to set a strategy from start to finish in managing HRM. Chapter 8: HR Strategies. HR told me that HR strategies set out what the organization intends to do about the different aspects of its human research management, policies, and practice. The purpose of HR strategies is to guide HRM development and implementation programs. They provide a means of communicating to all concerned the intention of the organizations about how its human research will be managed. They provide the basis of strategic plans and enable the organization to measure progress and evaluate outcomes against objectives. HR strategies provide vision for the future, but they are also vehicles that define the action required and how the vision should be realized. Chapter 9: Developing and Implementing HR Strategies. In this chapter, I can find out that there is an ever-present risk that the concept of strategic HRM can become somewhat nebulous, nice to have but hard to realize. The danger of creating a rhetoric or reality gap is acute. Broad and often lengthy statement of strategic intent can be readily produced. What is much more difficult is to turn them into realistic plans that are then implemented effectively. Strategic HRM is more about getting things done than thinking about them. It leads to the formulation of HR strategies that first define what an organization intends to do in order to attain defined goals in overall human resource management policies and in particular areas of HR process and practices. And secondly, what set out how they will be implemented. Difficult though it may be, a strategic approach Chapter 10, HR Policies. In this chapter, what I studied was HR or employment policies help to ensure that when deadline with matters concerning people, an approach in line with corporate values is adopted throughout the organization. They serve as the base for enacting values, converting exposed value into values in use. They provide frameworks within which conscious decisions are made and promote equity in the way in which people are treated because they provide guidance on what managers should do in particular curriculum. Stands they facilitate empowerment, devolution, and delegation. While they should fit the corporate culture, they can also help to shape it. And chapter 11, competency-based HRM. Here tells me that competency-based HRM is about using the competence of competency and the result of competency analysis to inform and improve the process of performance management, requirement and selection, employee development and employee rewards. The language has dominated much of HR thinking and practice in recent years. The concept of competency has achieved this degree of prominence because it is essentially about performance. The last is chapter 12, Knowledge Management. This chapter tells me about knowledge management deals as much with people and how they acquire, exchange, and disseminate knowledge as with information technology. This is why it has become an important area for HR practitioners, who are in a strong position to exert influence in this aspect of people management. I have learned a lot from HRM about what is managing people and how to manage people. I can know what I don't know before. HRM opened my mind about human research. In my opinion, I'm quite active in Zoom meeting class. I quite often ask and answer questions from friends who present their material and answer questions that are sometimes given by the lecturer. There are already 12 groups present their material. From each material that has been presented, I know more and more about HRM, such as about role of the HR function, HR strategies, developing and implementing. I present about Human Capital Management or HCM. Previously, I couldn't tell the differences between HRM and HCM, but now I know that HCM is concerned with obtaining, analyzing, and reporting on data that informs the direction of value-adding people management, strategic investment, and operational decision at corporate level and at the level of frontline management. I'm interested in taking the HRM course because I want to be an entrepreneur, and in building a business, I have to know all the elements in management, including HRM. I will not be able to properly manage the human research that work for me if I don't know about HRM. I have answered all the questions on part A, and now I want to answer the question on part B. According to Edwin Flopin, defines that human resource management as planning, organizing, directing, controlling of procurement, development, compensation, integration, maintenance, and separation of human research to the end that individual, organizational, and social objectives are achieved. And according to the National Institute of Personnel Management, or NIPM, of India has defined human research personnel management as that part of management which is concerned with people at work and with their relationship within an enterprise. Its aim is to bring together and develop into an effective organization of the men and women who make up enterprise, and having regard for the well-being of the individuals and of working groups to enable them to make their best contribution in its success. According to DiCenzo and Robbins, human resource management is concerned with the people dimension in management, since every organization is made up of people, acquiring their services, developing their skills, motivating them to higher level of performance, and ensuring that they continue to maintain their commitment to the organization is essential to achieve organizational objectives. This is true regardless of the type of organization: government, business, education, health, or social action. According to Raymond and New et al., HRM refers to the policies, practices, and systems that influence employees' behavior, attitude, and performance. According to Infant Savage, human resource management is concerned with the most effective use of people to achieve organizational and individual goals. It is the strategic and coherent approach to the management of an organization's most valued assets that the people working there who individually and correctly contribute to the achievement of its goals. There are various objectives of management such as profit maximization, consumer satisfaction, growth of organization, etc., which can only be achieved through the effective utilization of human resources. In my opinion, HRM is the application of management sciences in managing human resources so that they can be better qualified in doing things, especially in an organization. They can work together and achieve goals well. The future role of HRM as follows. First, facilitator, facilitating the employees or employer connections, principally through empowering technologies, both digital and procedural, that emphasize employee self-service and managerial independence. Second, designer, designing and helping implement high-performance people strategies in partnership with line staff. The scope of such efforts could be quite narrow at the team level or system-wide, as in the focus is on developing employee and manager self-reliance through the skillful sharing of expertise by HR. The focus, too, is on applying that expertise in ways that are explicit tied to priority of line staff. Third, educator, serving as a catalyst for learning and communication. As educator, HR has three jobs: introduce fresh thinking and new ideas to promote creativity, innovation, and successful adaptation within the enterprise. B. Persist in developing mastery of adopt organizational practice and process improvement methodologies by employees and managers. And C. Communicate extensively what's happening within the organization and why, especially as this related to the 7 high-performance people strategies identified above. And company must have HR policy because HR policies ensure that your staff are well aware of their rights and responsibilities at work. It also reinforces a standard of acceptable behavior and conduct in the workplace. Spending your time, money, and resources in creating company policies may not be at the top of your list. According to Johnson and Scholes, 1993, strategic choice defines all the activities which should be taken into account, assessment and choice of these activities, and strategic implementation explain how to plan the strategic choice that it could have a positive effect and if it is required to make any change. Strategic human research management is the connection between a company's human research and its strategies, objectives, and goals. The aim of strategic human research management is to advance flexibility, innovation, and competitive advantage, develop a fit-for-purpose organizational culture. Because all organizations are different, so all HR strategies are different too. According to Armstrong and Long, 1994, and Armstrong and Barkon, 2002, reveal many variations. Some strategies are simply very general declaration of intent. Others go into much more detail. But 2 basic types of HR strategies can be identified by overarching strategies. Overarching strategies describe the general intention of the organization about how people should be managed and developed. What steps should be taken to ensure that HRM processes the organization can attract the retain the people it needs, and ensure so far as possible that employees are communicated, motivated, and engineered. They are like to be expressed as broad brush statement of aim and purpose that set the sense for more specific strategies. They are concerned with overall organizational effectiveness. Achieving human research advantage by, as Boxall and Perskill explain, employing better people in organizations with better process, developing high-performance work system, and general creating a great place to work. And second is specific strategies relating to the different aspects of human research management. Specific strategy that company have is the main strategy which is the concern of the company of achieve something. Competency is that it is something you need to be able to do well in a specific job role. Economic competence is the ability to identify, expand, and exploit the business opportunities. Invention and innovation lead to economic change only to the extent that gains within the system are successful in taking advantage of the opportunities to which they give rise. A competency framework defines the knowledge, skill, and attributes required for people in an organization. Each individual role will have the set of competencies needed to do the job effectively. Competency framework at workplace is really important because creating a competency framework is an effective method for assessing, maintaining, and monitoring the knowledge, skill, and attribute of the people in your organization. Here are some steps to develop a competency framework. First, prepare and communicate. When planning for a competency framework, it's important to inform your workforce of your intentions early on. You'll need to work with all levels of your staff and make sure it is easily accessible, user-friendly, and implemented correctly. Second, define competency requirement. An important step in creating a competency framework is collecting data about each job type within your organizations. By serving employees and management alike, you're able to determine each employee's comfort level or proficiency within their position, better understand what kind of skills are needed as well as can current skills gaps exist. Third, choose a foundation. The most comprehensive way to implement a competency framework is by using competency management software. Competency management software make it easy for leaders throughout the company to collaborate on customizing the process. While many organizations have similar competency and similar types of employees, there tend to be at least a few differences from company to company. How common are a typical your company's competency and the tasks required of your employees will determine the foundation on which you build your organization competence framework. Fourth, implement your competency model. Once you have finished your research involved by key members of leadership and selected a foundation upon which to build your framework, it's time to create your company's competency models. And the last, track, measure, and take action. By comparing competency needed in each role and comparing this to the proficiency of employees currently in that role, leadership can begin building upon employees' existing strengths, followed by targeting skills gap and planning for continued learning. Blackler, 1995. Concepts of knowledge are listed 5 categories of knowledge: embodied, embedded, embrained, enculturated, and coded knowledge. Knowledge management is a discipline that promotes an integrated approach to identifying, capturing, evaluating, retrieving, and sharing all of an enterprise information assets. Their assets may include database, document, policies, procedure, and previously uncaptured expertise and experience in individual works. Key aim is conceived now, and this expansion arrived early on, includes relevant information assets from wherever relevant. Type of knowledge. You can define factual knowledge simply as the terminologies, specific details, and basic elements within any domain. This is the information that can and must be learned through exposure, repetition, and commitment to memory. Conceptual knowledge. Related to factual knowledge, conceptual knowledge can be understood as knowing the interrelationships and or function among the details and elements that make up a larger structure. Procedural knowledge. This knowledge type is critical for success in goal attainment because it puts the what into action through the how process. Metacognition cognitive knowledge. This is probably the least paid attention to knowledge type because sometimes it feels uncomfortable to reflect on what is happening inside your world. We fear what we might find. The purpose of knowledge management process is to share perspective, ideas, experience, and information to ensure that these are available in the right place at the right time to enable informed decision and to improve efficiency by reducing the need to rediscover knowledge. The objectives of knowledge management are to improve the quality of management decision making by ensuring that reliable and secure knowledge, information, and data is available through the service life cycle. Enable the service provider to be more efficient and improve quality of service, increase satisfaction, and reduce the cost of service by reducing the need to rediscover knowledge. Ensure that staff have a clear and common understanding of the value that their service provides to customer and the ways in which benefits are realized from the use of those services. Maintain a service knowledge management system that provides control, access to knowledge, information, and data that it is appropriate for each audience. Gather, analyze, store, share, use, and maintain knowledge, information, and data throughout the service provider organization. I have answered all of the questions on part B. Well, my friend, I would like to answer the question on part C related to the video. We are given 3 videos and each video consists of several questions and I'm going to answer the question. I already put down the link of the video on description. Moving to the first video. I already watched the video completely, entitled Lufia versus Lunar. The video shows us about 2 companies that have different ways of managers to treat their employees. 2 human research managers who work in 2 different big companies, namely Lufia and Lunar. The manager in Lufia is very kind. He is very close with his employee and communicative. If the employee have a problem each other, he always try to solve employee's problem and make it better. As a result, his employee respect him and listen to him well. Meanwhile, the manager in Lunar is very strict and only cares about the result without looking at the process at all. She always demands more without listening to her employee's opinion. As a result, she couldn't understand what her employee really feels and they left her. From this video, I learned that being a manager is not easy to do. We need to be interactive, communicative, and understanding to our employees so that our employee can do and understanding what we want and they can also respect to us. If I were the manager in a company, I would be kind, happy, I would listen to them, and from that I can understand what happened to them, especially when they have a problem, they can tell it to me so I can understand and know what I should to do to help them. And I want to be strict so my employee can be disciplined so that my employee can do anything well. If I can respect them, they can also respect to me. With that, we can do anything well. The second video. I have watched the second video entitled Injustice. This video shows about the two managers in a company where one of them always do bad things, like corruption, giving away her tasks to other employee, and cheating. The other manager is kind-hearted, but she does not interact with her employee well, and she is not strict at all. In my opinion, the problem first is the kind-hearted manager always do and finish the task given alone because she had no one to rely on. All her employees does not seem to care about the task given and keeps on doing things as they want. All this problem happened because the manager is not strict enough to them, but then a good human resource manager named Stella came to help the company. She noticed that there is something wrong and decided to take action immediately. As a result, the problem of corruption was found and the employees in the company become happier with their job because manager understand them and guide them perfectly. From this video, I can learn that as a manager, we have to be kind-hearted and strict. We must to be able to manage and guide our employees well, and we must not do bad things like corruption. Now, I want to answer the third video. I have watched the third video completely. The video is about a CEO of a company with his manager who found out that the sales of the company has decreased compared to the last month. The manager claimed that is because there is another competitor not wanting to have any excuse. The CEO does not care about what the manager said. The CEO only wants the sales to increase no matter how and what method the manager will use. So the other managers become confused. In the meeting room, there are 6 people. Handi Tendra as the CEO, Kadin Sanjaya as the secretary, Exxon Septian as the marketing manager, Salvatore Purwono as the operational manager, Kevin Cristianto as the financial manager, and Daniel Giovanni as the human research manager. In my opinion, the manager in this company is already very good. Their chemistry between each other is good. They are hardworking and are able to notice the problem that the company is facing very well. The problem is the CEO of the company for not having the leadership skills needed, as it is the key role of the success of the company. The CEO fails to understand and satisfy his own employees. He never even bothered to guide his employees at all. The people in this company has already tried to do whatever they can in order to fulfill and meet the expectation of the company after being so scolded, but it does not do anything different. This is the end of last part. We are already at the end of the video, and I have answered all the questions of the midterm quiz which given by Mr. Adi Mursalin. And I got so many new insight when answering all these questions, and hope all of you who watch this video can get the new knowledge too. Thank you so much everyone for watching this video. Have a good day.